Hey guys, this is Introducing Emmy with my to MangaStudio and back tutorial. I'm a little tired, it's a little late, but I remembered I had to do this, so we're going to do this. I'm also recording my sound through a different program, so hopefully it'll sound a little clearer than it has been from when I've been using my visual recording program. Alright, so let's get started. If you remember last time I was showing you how to ink manga in MangaStudio, and now I've finished the drawing. I just real quickly went in and finished inking it. So now, how to take your drawing from MangaStudio over to Photoshop, this is what I'm going to show you. Alright, so you're going to want to go to File, Export, Image File in Pixels, not Dimensions. Go to in Pixels. There's going to be a lot of different options here. You can either, so I'm trying to think, where should I begin? Okay, so right here it'll say specify output size. Now if you remember, our image size was 1080 by 1080 at 300 dpi. That shouldn't be any different. If you started it like that, it should be the same, as long as you didn't resize it in MangaStudio or anything funky like that. Alright, you want to make sure that the output area is the entire page, and we didn't use any kind of monochrome or gradients or anything like that, so you really shouldn't have to worry about this. The finish info is basically what it's going to decide to export. I'm pretty sure all you need to have checked is finished image, but I've just left tone and text checked as well. It doesn't seem to hurt anything. Under file settings, we're going to name this inking tutorial. It's the same thing that we saved it as earlier. I'm hoping you save your work as you work on it. And you're going to say type Photoshop file. Now you could do any of these, but I've had the best luck with Photoshop files. And then you're going to specify where you want it to go. I just send it to the default, which is documents, and output range, all pages. This is only significant if you're working on a spread of pages, like the left and the right page, etc., etc. We don't have to worry about that, so just say all pages, and then click OK. And you'll get a little window of it rendering, and then it'll be done. And it'll say export processing has finished, or export processing has failed. I've never gotten a has failed, I think, but I'm pretty sure that's what it will say. And just so that you know, it will not export this sketch. It will only export this, the final inked version. Alright, so let's save this and hop over to Photoshop. Close MangaStudio. And let me open. There we go. So this is the Photoshop file of our inks. Now I don't like to have two files with the same name or with the same project. I like to delete one of them. I don't like to delete the one that I started with, the one with the sketch and all my original information. So what I do is I take this, I hit Control A, select all this, hit Control C to copy it, and then we'll take it over, and it should match up just perfectly, just like that. It should fit all the way to the edges because we remember we are 1080 by 1080 at 300 dpi. Now it's completely white with black lines. Let me get really, really close, and you can see how incredibly sharp and pixel they are. They're just, oh, they're so sharp. I love it. I'm in love. So what we're going to do is we're going to go up. We're going to pick our magic wand tool. We're going to go up to the top, and we are going to say not contiguous and not anti-alias. Nothing should be checked. And we are going to click in the white, and it's going to select all the white, and we're going to say get rid of that. We're going to hit delete, and then hit Control D to deselect. And now we're going to lock our sketch layer. Name this sketch. We're going to hide that, this lines. Now, my line layer has no effects. It is literally just the lines. So I can take any color let me use my pencil brush. I can take any color and go behind my lines, and it won't affect anything. But you know, you could go in and color it by hand, but you know what? We got stuff to do. We got to go out later today, so we're not going to do it like that. We are going to make a copy of the line layer. You do this by taking the line layer, clicking, holding down, dragging down to this little thing that looks like a little page. That will make a copy. It looks like a little flippy corner page. It's the second from the right in your layer window. So that has made a new layer called Lines Copy, and we're going to unlock that. We're going to hide the original line layer. It shouldn't look any different. And we're going to name this Colors. Actually, let's name it Flats. Okay. Now we're going to go select our paint bucket tool, and we are going to uncheck anti-alias. Leave contiguous checked and uncheck all layers. Tolerance can be anything. That has no effect when anti-alias is unchecked. Let's go to 100% so we can see, and I will just real quickly paint bucket her in. So this goes much quicker because our lines are aliased. Now, because this is a really cartoony drawing, I do the eyeballs just white. Some people would choose not to do that. So let's put a color on our background layer so that we can see what we have and haven't colored. So we forgot our neck, and bump, bump. Okay. Oh, forgot a spike. Okay. So there she is. She's completely colored with her flat. So now we're going to shade her. And this is basically the same process I do for all my drawings. Again, I made a copy of my flats layer. You can see there's two now. We're going to name this shading. Let's pretend I'm really organized. I'm not at all. I usually don't name my layers. I just have them memorized. So let's decide how we're going to shade this. There's a couple different ways. I usually will just pick some colors, and I really don't care what they are. You know, we could do a green and we'll do a yellow. One should be dark and one should be light. If you go and hit Control U and turn your saturation all the way down, this should be lighter, this should be darker, just like that. Alright, so now what we're going to do is we're going to have our magic wand tool again, and we are going to make sure everything's anti-aliased, contiguous, sample layers. This should all be unchecked still, and we are going to click on the black of the lines, okay? And we are going to take our dark color and we're going to hit Shift F5, and that will say fill, and it will say contents, use, foreground color, and that should be that dark kind of turquoise green that we just picked. Alright, and we're going to say mode normal, opacity 100%, and preserve transparency is unchecked. Alright, and we are going to hit OK, and you'll see it just changed all those lines to that dark purple. Now we're going to hit Control Shift I, and you didn't really see anything happen there, but what it did was it inverted the selection. So now it's selecting everything but the lines. We're going to go over to our layer window real quick, and we're going to hit the little checkerboard pattern, and that's a special kind of lock that makes sure that if anything is see-through, color won't go there. So if there are any transparent or semi-transparent parts, color will only go there, or I mean it won't go there, or it will semi-go there, I guess, if it's semi-transparent. So now we're going to select our light yellow, and we're going to do the same thing again. We're going to hit Control, or excuse me, we're going to hit Shift 5, hit Enter, and so now it has accidentally colored that both yellow, but that has made everything else yellow. We're going to hit deselect. Alright, let me just real quickly throw that color back over there. Okie dokie. Go ahead and leave that checkerboard lock on so that we can't accidentally go outside where the color is, okay? And then we're going to click our line layer, click the eyeball on our line layer, make that visible again, and we're just going to go in and we're going to put some shadows down. This will take me a little bit, so I'm just going to chat to you guys while I do it. Well, it shouldn't take me too long. This character Rose is from my webcomic Trying Human. And some of you have noticed I haven't been updating with new pages lately. I've gotten so many emails. I really appreciate the concern. Don't worry, I'm okay. I'm actually switching servers right now. And just due to some little legal stuff, getting my domain name back and all that stuff, I've decided to not update with any new pages, just until I'm sure that I'm safe and sound and, you know, nothing can go wrong. There's no accidental breaches of contract or anything, so to speak. But hopefully we'll get it all straightened out really soon. You know, oh, I tell you what, I miss updating Trying Human. It's my lifeblood. It's very precious to me, the time I spend on the comic. It really keeps me going. Helped me through some dark ass days, I tell you what. So as you can see, I'm just basically painting in the shadows. I also will draw the I want to call them gutters. They're not really gutters. It's a comic book term. The cells, I guess. Just paint bucket them in. Now, this tutorial is not a for shading. It's not a shading tutorial. I will get into that in more detail perhaps in a different tutorial if you'd like to see it. I am not the queen of shading by any means, but I do an okay job. So maybe. You know, I used to do tutorials a lot years ago, and half the time I didn't even know what the hell I was talking about, but what little knowledge I had accumulated, I tried to share. If I did a good job, I don't know or not, but I remember coming back to some of the tutorials years later. I'd either found quicker ways to do things or better ways to do things, you know, but I guess if you wait around to do tutorials to when you're absolutely sure you know every possible thing, you still won't know it all, and you'll still have to go back and fix your tutorials or redo them or what have you. So I guess I should just do tutorials even if I don't quite know everything I'm talking about. You guys can always correct me or point me in a better direction, and then I will pass the word on to the masses. I was just talking to my husband about this. We were out to dinner tonight, and I was, you know, saying how much I like doing tutorials. It's like actually one of my favorite things to do is to just talk to people about how I do things in programs and stuff. I never mind talking about it at all. When I was young, I'd say like 13 or 14, there was this artist I really admired on the internet, and I remember they had I kept thinking, wow, they're going to do a tutorial soon. I just know, yeah, I could feel it in my bones. I knew they were going to do one. And when the day came around that they were going to do it, instead they put up a message basically saying, you know, if anybody asked them for tutorials, they weren't going to tell them. And in their FAQ, they changed it to say, you know, these are my secrets, my Photoshop secrets. You'll just have to learn the hard way like I did. And I remember thinking, that's not that nice, you know, like, we want to learn. Us little peons want to learn from you. And I swore that day that I would never go hungry again. No, that's a different movie. It annoyed me so much that I you know, I remember thinking, I was so upset as a 13-year-old. I was so excited to learn from this person, and they basically stomped their feet and dug their heels in and said no. So I decided I would never be like that. I would never do that. So if you have any questions, I'll answer them. I do not mind. I have no secrets. it also made me wonder if that person was not nearly as talented or proficient as I originally thought they were. You know, that if somebody figured out how to do the same things they were doing in Photoshop with even a modicum of talent, they could be, you know, so much better than them. But anyway, yeah, we won't do that. Okay, so basically this is shaded. That didn't take us very long at all. And now you're going, Emmy, look at them ugly colors. So ugly. Well, I'm going to show you how to, because I'm pretty sure, yeah, let's go up to our layer window and scroll down to multiply. Ew. Actually, it's kind of cool. But let's just, for the sake of example and argument here, let's pretend we wanted hot colors, okay? So we picked out this juicy brown. Let me show it to you. Ooh, so pretty. Brown is one of my favorite colors. And you're like, alright, perfect. So what we're going to do is we're going to select our paint bucket. Now remember, we use the pencil brush to shade all this, alright? So we're going to go and unclick contiguous on our paint bucket. So anti-alias, contiguous, all layers should all be unchecked up at the top there, or to the side. I'm not, different versions of Photoshop have that menu in different places. And we are just going to click in the green. And that changed everything to a nice brown to go with our yellow. They're both hot colors, so it should look really nice when we hit multiply. Ah, yes, that looks really nice. It looks kind of like she's in candlelight or something. Alright. And then, another quick way, now that we have all of our colors warm, what we can do is we can hit Control U, and then we can go to the Hue bar. Hue is the name of a character in my comic. Okay, so then we're going to scroll. I'm just going to wait, see if we can get to some blues or purples here. Let's see what all we can do. But you see how we can just quickly change all those colors real fast? You know, like, there we go. We got some purples. Now she's like out at night, you know? You can change your whole shading palette just that quickly, you know? So let's get rid of this. Okay, so now that we have our base shading done, I mean, this is very, very basic shading. This is the kind of shading I do in my comic. You know, you gotta meet deadlines and stuff. I don't do a whole lot of underlighting, reflected lighting, or anything like that in my comic, just because I have such a high quota of pages and art I need to meet every week. So can't get too crazy, can't get too detailed with all this. So now let's pretend a really sharp light is hitting her from behind. We're going to make a new layer here. We're going to call this Backlighting. I don't know if you can hear me throwing my pen to the ground as I do this, but alright, so this light is going to be coming from here, and we're just going to, don't worry if you go outside the lines. That's why they put pencils on erasers. Funny story about pencils on erasers. Oops, that should be yellow. When I was taking an art class, make sure that if you're going to erase anything, that it is set to pencil so that you get nice sharp lines. There we go. When I was in, I was taking some kind of an art class for like a week every summer where you would do like animation stuff and figure drawing. I remember the professor or the teacher of the class would always make us draw with pens because we couldn't erase. And I was like, oh, I can't erase. I drew the eyes too small on my Sailor Moon drawing. They need to be at least 4 times bigger, sir. I was like 12 or 13 when I was going to those classes. My world was Animu. Sir, Sailor Moon's buttons are far too tiny to please me. How may I fix this? Alright, so we've done the backlighting. Real quickly, I'm just gonna blink, blink. Okay, so I have done what's called a clipping mask, and all you have to do here is you hit, I'm trying to think here, what that would be your left mouse button. No, right click. Sorry, my bad. I'm using the pen to click, so it's a little different for me. But you would do the equivalent of right clicking, and then you would say create clipping mask, and it will make your backlighting layer clip to the shading layer. See, it won't go outside now. So then what we're going to do is we're going to say overlay. Now you can either do it like this, or let's say release clipping mask. Let's do 1 second, let me clean this up a little bit. We can clip that down and we can say multiply. I mean, there's a few different ways you can do it, but generally that's how your backlighting is going to look. Let's see here. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I could go over. I really don't want to get too complicated here because we're just trying to do some basic things here. You're going to want to make a new layer over your lines. Go in there and add our... Now here's a trick. Okay, so the highlight in her eyes is not going to be white. Okay? What it's going to be is whatever the highlight of white is. So her eyeball is white, but we've shaded it with purple in this case. So it's going to be a purple color. So you're going to want this color to be the shine. Okay? Unless you have something that she's looking at in particular and you want to throw some other colors in there, you know, feel free to get creative. So, and then same, the way I do the hair for cell shaded characters is I select the lightest color of the hair. I click once on that and bring up this menu. You're going to want to have the B checked. And you're just going to want to scrub up just a little bit until you get that new color just a little lighter. And then just go in and draw some nice stylized H's. That's what I like to call them, or fish. I guess they have kind of a fish shape. Just draw some big old sea serpents in there. Draw some big old fat Nessies all up in her hair there. Alright. So that's basically that. And you know, this stuff can be applied to any kind of drawing style. Well, maybe not realism, but I mean within the cartoony mindset, it can be like anime, or it could be like the new My Little Pony style, or any of that stuff, you know. So just, you know, get creative with it. Use the stuff to your advantage, you know. Take what you've learned from me and manipulate it, make it your own, control it, dominate that MangaStudio. Oh, we didn't put any shine on her tongue. How else will she please the ladies? I mean, what? Oh my god. Okay, anyway, so there she is. She's beautiful. She's my smug little angel. And that'll do it for this. If you have any questions, comments, ideas, things you want to see or have me do, let me know. And I will do it. Alright, leave a like, a fave, a subscribe, and I'll see you guys later. Bye!